Every day, we are confronted with the darker aspects of human nature, witnessing acts of cruelty that are often difficult to comprehend. While these tragedies are a somber reality, they demand our attention, especially when they involve innocent lives. As someone immersed in the world of crime stories, I aim to share the most shocking cases and explore what motivates individuals to commit such acts. I'm Michael, and today I present a haunting true crime story that unfolded on Christmas Eve morning in Lonia, New Hampshire. On that cold morning, in apartment 67 on Blueberry Lane, a sense of joy was supposed to fill the air. Instead, a young girl was seen urgently speaking on the phone outside. Moments later, her grandmother, Cher Connor, burst out in panic, screaming that someone was not breathing. Paramedics arrived swiftly, rushing a small, unresponsive boy into their ambulance. Despite their efforts, 5-year-old Dennis Bouvau Jr. was pronounced dead at the hospital. Initially, no one understood what had happened, but as police began their investigation, disturbing truths started to surface. Neighbors had heard strange noises. Social workers had expressed concerns, yet no intervention had occurred in time. Now, the grim reality behind those walls was finally coming to light. Dennis, affectionately called Boo by his mother, Danielle Vaugh, was born on June 11, 2014, in Lonia. From the moment she held him, Danielle was captivated by his distinctive birthmark, a small patch of hair contrasting with his bright blonde hair. Boo grew into a lively, affectionate boy, his brown eyes radiating joy. Childhood photographs reveal his adventurous spirit. Whether splashing in pools or playing in the snow, he exuded happiness. Yet Danielle's own childhood was marred by hardship. Her mother, Cher Connor, was known for her volatile temper and unpredictable behavior. At 15, Danielle found herself in the care of her mother's friend, Dennis Vaugh, a nearly 50-year-old married man. Their relationship soon turned romantic, despite their significant age gap, and within a few years, Danielle became pregnant. The couple married and had 4 children, with Boo being the youngest. Their marriage was tumultuous, marked by control and violence. Dennis Sr. exerted dominance over Danielle, often resorting to abuse. Both spiraled into drug addiction, leading to multiple arrests. In 2016, law enforcement raided their home, and the children were taken into custody. Determined to regain her children, Danielle embarked on a difficult 4-year journey of recovery, quitting drugs, attending court-mandated programs, and securing stable housing away from her husband. By 2017, the court placed Boo and his siblings in the care of their maternal grandmother, Cher Connor. Despite her reservations about her own past, Danielle hoped Cher would provide a loving and responsible environment. However, during visits, Danielle noticed troubling signs that suggested her children were not receiving the care they needed, raising concerns about their safety and well-being. In 2018, Danielle visited her mother's home and was appalled by the conditions she encountered. The house was filthy, with animal and human waste scattered across the floors, and the refrigerator and cabinets were locked, denying the children access to food. During her visit, she noticed bruises shaped like finger marks on the children's chins, an unsettling reminder of her mother's past violence when she had once roughly lifted her off the ground while shouting. Danielle also observed that the children appeared malnourished, which deepened her concern. Over time, Danielle's worries grew as she learned more about her grandchildren's suffering. Her mother, Sherry, had inflicted physical harm, evident from the bruises, and her living environment was dangerously neglectful. Despite multiple reports to the New Hampshire Division of Children, Youth, and Families, her concerns were often dismissed or considered unfounded. One day, Danielle accidentally heard a voicemail where she could clearly hear a child being hit, followed by her son crying out in pain, while Sherry screamed, "I hate you, you dirty dog. I can't wait for someone to take you away." In July of 2019, Sherry took her 8-year-old grandson to a campground, tied him to a chair with duct tape, and left him overnight. Concerned campers contacted the police, leading to his emergency removal by Child Protective Services. Yet, only one of her children was taken away. The others remained with Sherry, intensifying Danielle's desperation. She repeatedly called authorities, begging them to place her remaining children elsewhere, but her pleas went unanswered. Tragically, on Christmas morning of 2019, emergency responders were called to Sherry's home after her youngest, just 5 years old, was found unresponsive. Despite urgent medical efforts, he was pronounced dead at Lakes Region General Hospital. The circumstances surrounding his death raised suspicion immediately. Investigators from the state's Major Crimes Unit examined the home thoroughly, collecting evidence throughout the day. Neighbors who lived nearby had long been disturbed by what they heard from Sherry's apartment. Joyce Hendrickson, who resided next door, recounted hearing frequent shouting, banging, and other unsettling noises. She described how Sherry shared the apartment with 3 boys, a girl, and 2 dogs, and over 2 years her concern intensified. Police records confirmed that authorities had been called multiple times in the months leading up to the child's death. In February, Joyce's son, Phil, noticed one of the children outside barefoot in the cold, which alarmed him. By June, he observed more disturbing behavior and recorded a video, submitting a formal complaint. Police responded to the apartment on June 20th for a juvenile matter, and later, in August and October, they visited again regarding animal neglect. On Christmas Eve morning, Phil saw Boo's sister standing outside around 8 o'clock, adding to the mounting evidence of ongoing neglect and abuse. One evening, after speaking on the phone with emergency services, I saw Sherry rushing out, exclaiming that Boo was not breathing. Paramedics from the Lonia Fire Department arrived swiftly, carrying Boo out of the apartment and into an ambulance that sped toward the hospital. Meanwhile, Danielle Vole was at work early that morning, cleaning at Elliott Hospital, when a state police sergeant arrived unexpectedly, asking to speak with her privately. She vividly recalls the chilling moment when he looked her in the eyes and simply said, "Dennis is dead." An autopsy was performed on Boo, but authorities kept its results from the public. Officials explained that the cause and manner of death were still under investigation, requiring further studies to clarify the circumstances. However, the severity of Boo's injuries led authorities to remove his surviving siblings from Sherry's custody. A court document later confirmed that significant bruising on Boo's body influenced the decision to revoke Sherry's guardianship. The agency also revealed that Sherry was under investigation as the primary suspect in Boo's death. Nearly 5 months later, the Attorney General's office finally announced that Boo had died from homicide, caused by blunt force trauma to his head and neck. Despite this clear finding, no arrests were made, and no suspects were publicly identified. The case remained unresolved for years By February 2022, over 2 years after Boo's death, Danielle was still seeking justice. In an interview with local news, she expressed her deep frustration and heartbreak, sharing that she had regained custody of her other children and was persistently following up with the authorities as the statute of limitations approached its end in December 2022. Believing that legal action was the only way to hold the state accountable, Danielle filed an 85-page wrongful death lawsuit against Child Services. The document detailed her repeated efforts to seek help and included 27 reports of suspected family violence filed between 2017 and 2019. Most reports came from professionals such as teachers, nurses, and law enforcement officers. The first report, filed in August 2017, described an incident at a campground where Sherry allegedly grabbed Boo by the neck and face, hit him, poured liquid on him, and dragged him into a tent. Witnesses, disturbed by the child's screams, feared he needed medical attention. However, authorities dismissed the report as unfounded, failing to interview either the reporting officer or witnesses. Worse still, when Child Services questioned the children, Sherry was present, a clear violation of protocol. By early 2018, multiple reports had been received about Boo's older brother being beaten. 2 of these reports originated from Elliott Hospital, where a nurse documented 90 photographs of the child's extensive bruising. In April of that year, Danielle called the police, desperately pleading for someone to check on her children, as Sherry refused her access. When authorities arrived, they found the children appearing cheerful, healthy, clothed, and on the verge of eating hamburgers. However, between September and December of 2019, 9 additional reports surfaced, revealing the worsening condition of Boo. Witnesses described him as vomiting, with scabs on his scalp and bruises on his head, neck, and arms. Consistent accounts depicted the children as visibly injured, and disturbing details about their living environment emerged. Sherry was accused of physically abusing the children, slapping and kicking them, and confining them in a dark basement without a bathroom, forcing them to use a 5-gallon bucket for waste. She reportedly subjected Boo and his siblings to cold baths, tied them with duct tape, and made Boo sleep in a laundry basket. Harsh punishments included forcing the children to run up and down stairs in diapers as discipline. According to the lawsuit, Boo was often kept in a high chair for extended periods, sometimes overnight, despite being only 4 years old. Sherry allegedly fed him expired canned food straight from the can without heating it. In January of 2019, a concerned neighbor called the police, reporting loud yelling and banging from Sherry's apartment. The caller described hearing continuous screams and banging at 11 o'clock at night, with video showing children outside barefoot in winter for over an hour. The neighbor expressed suspicion that the children were being beaten and warned that the situation was dangerous. When police arrived, they classified the call as a noise complaint. Sherry told the officers she was disciplining a child by making him run up and down the stairs 10 times for urinating on the wall. After speaking with the child, who confirmed her story, the officer advised her to be mindful of the noise and left. Further reports painted a troubling picture. A school social worker noted that Boo and his siblings frequently arrived at school with bruises. Sherry was known to struggle with substance abuse and was suspected of having undiagnosed mental health issues. Another report revealed that Sherry believed the boys were influenced by the devil, whom she associated with their father. She claimed to have found God and was determined to rid the boys of their father's spiritual influence through intervention. An internal email from the school expressed concern that Child Protective Services were not taking these reports seriously. Just 9 days after this email, Boo tragically died. The lawsuit alleged that in the days leading up to Boo's death, Sherry told Danielle that Boo was experiencing hallucinations and refusing to eat or drink, further highlighting the severity of his condition. After Boo's tragic death on Christmas Eve, a social worker recorded that he believed the devil was coming for him, warning of his impending doom. Following this, Sherry reacted with distress, shouting that the police didn't care about children and were ruining Christmas. Danielle, overwhelmed by losing custody of her children, who then faced even worse circumstances, expressed her deep frustration. The local community united in Boo's memory, posting flyers with messages like, "Don't forget Dennis," and one determined woman even marched to the mayor's office, holding a photo of Boo to demand justice. Criticism grew against authorities for neglecting Boo's case. The Attorney General's office was faulted for not pursuing public tips, and the police department failed to use social media to seek information. Meanwhile, the governor faced backlash for not advocating for Boo, as he had for other child victims in the state. Unlike 3 other child death cases that prompted official reviews, Boo's murder received no such attention. A news report referred to him simply as the 5-year-old homicide victim no one was talking about, highlighting the unsettling silence surrounding his unresolved case. This neglect struck a chord with those familiar with similar injustices, such as the decade-long unresolved death of 19-month-old Aya Reynolds in Maine. By that time, Sherry had moved to Maine and agreed to speak with the New Hampshire Bulletin via Facebook Messenger. She admitted she'd only spoken once to investigators after her interview, explaining, "I decided I wasn't talking to anyone anymore. They were really mean to me, and I don't trust anyone." She claimed she was unaware of over 25 reports of suspected abuse filed against her, and alleged that child services provided insufficient food, financial aid, or support to care for her 4 children. When asked about Boo's cause of death, Sherry tried to shift the story, citing a 2 medical record from before she had custody. The record indicated Boo had dehydration issues, which she attributed to his drinking from the toilet and the dog's water bowl, even soaking his pajamas at night. She also mentioned Boo had been ill before his death, but refused to specify symptoms, suggesting mold in her apartment might have been the cause. Sherry further attempted to explain the bruising on Boo's head by blaming a paramedic, claiming he accidentally hit the child while carrying him out. Despite being shown Boo's official death certificate, which listed blunt force trauma as the cause, she insisted he had died of natural causes. The community's demand for justice persisted, with candlelit vigils held every Friday in December of 2023 to mark the 4th anniversary of Boo's murder. Supporters hoped these gatherings would draw renewed attention to his case and demonstrate solidarity with his surviving family. On Friday, August 16, 2024, the New Hampshire State Police and the Ionia Police Department announced the long-awaited arrest of Cher Connor, aged 61. She faced multiple serious charges, including manslaughter, negligent homicide, 6 counts of first-degree assault, 1 count of second-degree assault, and 4 counts of witness tampering. Although officials did not specify the victim's name, it was clear that Scheer was finally being held accountable for Boo's death. She was scheduled to appear in court, though the exact date remained undisclosed. During her arraignment the following Monday, new details about Boo's injuries surfaced. Authorities revealed that an autopsy uncovered 60 contusions and abrasions on his body, with 18 contusions and 9 abrasions concentrated on his head alone. The medical examiner concluded many injuries were recent, inflicted just hours before Boo's death. On that tragic day, Scheer reportedly became furious when Boo left clothes on the floor. As punishment, she forced him to wear all the clothes he had left out and made him run in place. When he collapsed from exhaustion, she kicked him and struck his head and neck with a broom. After the broom broke, she stomped on him, then covered him with a blanket and left him alone for hours. Despite suffering a fever of 104 degrees, incontinence, and hallucinations, Boo's injuries went untreated. In a heartbreaking moment, he mistook a plastic bag for a Christmas gift, clutching at any small joy amid his suffering. Instead of comfort, Scheer reportedly told him that the devil was coming to take him away. Boo died several hours later. His surviving siblings confirmed the horrifying abuse, describing a life filled with terror. The district attorney detailed the children's ordeal. They endured unimaginable torture, such as being forced to hold their legs in the air while Scheer stomped on them, subjected to cold baths, made to run naked up and down stairs for hours, and even having hot sauce applied to their genitals. Witnesses recounted that she often held their heads under water, smothered them with pillows, and deprived them of food. One witness noted that she favored suffocation as punishment because it left no visible marks. In public, the children wore long sleeves to hide bruises, with a teacher later seeing bruises all over a child's exposed skin after removing a sweatshirt. Despite overwhelming evidence, Scheer's public defender requested bail, arguing she had no prior criminal record, was battling cancer, and was concerned about her dog left alone at home. The attorney also questioned why it took 5 years to bring charges if she was truly dangerous. However, the judge denied her initial bail request. In October 2024, Scheer had another hearing, during which she tearfully claimed she had been a law-abiding citizen since Boo's death. Her defense emphasized her long-standing residence in the community without incident, but the case remained complex and emotionally charged. As of February 2025, no threat to the public had been identified, and no trial date had been scheduled. Danielle's wrongful death lawsuit remained unresolved, leaving supporters hopeful that the upcoming trial would not only hold Sherry accountable, but also reveal why authorities took 5 years to intervene, despite a well-documented history of abuse. While awaiting justice, it is crucial that Boo's memory is never forgotten. Thank you for engaging with Unreal True Crime. If you are fascinated by mysteries from around the globe, consider exploring our new channel, Latin Crime, where we delve into the compelling true crime stories of Latin America. Don't miss out on more gripping investigations,